The great thing about having a greenhouse is that when it's raining, pouring down raining outside, you can still garden. Here we have some early snowball broccoli going on here, some marigolds. Last year, a year-old plant of bell pepper. More broccoli. The plants are really taking off now. Here we have some early scarlet radishes. Aren't they beautiful? These onions here I grew from seed, really just doing a little trial. I think it was back in June, somewhere around there, May, June, somewhere around there. And the plants grew, but then when it got super hot here on the southeast coast, the plants died. And I thought, well, that's it. It was nothing but a trial anyhow, a little test. But then when it cooled down, probably about August, end of August, September, the plants submerged back up. And these are the onions from that. But the thing about this is that these onions really think they're older than what they are. I have some of them doing split bulbing. Some of them are nice size bulbs, but they are splitting in two. But they're still growing. I have never seen that before. Some of them are not. And because they think they're older than what they are, then they're wanting to seed out. So I break the tops off of them, break those that bloom off, so that it won't seed out. Excuse me, guys, I've been sick. Here I got some more broccoli, a volunteer potatoes coming up. Some cow got left in there, and the gourmet blend lettuces. A Sweet William has been in the greenhouse for a year now. It looks like it's going to flower up. Some volunteer tomatoes, don't know the variety of them, and my lettuce again. Cabbages are growing, put a trellis up, hopefully for cucumbers that's made for greenhouses. The marigolds are just phenomenal. This has been here, gosh, since fall, and now we're into March. Still doing beautiful. I had more. I pulled them up because I got more plants growing up. There were so many that grew up that I even got them out in the garden. These are cabbages. This is the early round Dutch cabbages. This is a hot pepper from last spring, should I say. Cut it back and it still survived the winter. Here we have the cauliflower. Some cauliflower growing right here. And then here we have a volunteer tomato. It's got some blooms on it. I literally ate tomatoes until January, from spring of 2023 to January 2024. Here is an onion that I grew, and it actually started sprouting. So I cut the bottom part of the onion off and planted this, and so this will be good greenery to stir fry. So yep, greenhouse is always jumping. Here is my seed starting table. It's kind of narrowed down because I'm potting up now. So I also got sweet potatoes, March, already coming up. Here is some tomatoes from a subscriber, the Red Deuce, the Ruggers, and some Vienna, white Vienna Karabi. So they just sent that to me, and I believe it was last week I planted them, and they're already up. Here is the spinach. Now this spinach, I've ate off of it. I mean, gosh, I've ate off. It's time to crop it again. It does wonderful into the greenhouse. I'm really super happy about that because I tried growing it out in the garden. It gets a lot of dirt. It doesn't do as well, but it does well into the greenhouse. Here is the red, that's kale, and gosh, suddenly I forgot the name of this plant right here, but if you grow this, you know what I'm talking about. Isn't it beautiful? For some reason it just left me. I don't know why. It's time for me to kind of cut some of that and cook it. It's just beautiful. Kale, I've been eating off of it. The garden peas are doing wonderful. The thing about a greenhouse is you can stand into your greenhouse and eat fresh garden peas. They never really make it into the kitchen. I have took some in the kitchen, cooked them. They're super delicious. That one right there is ready to pick. The reason they don't make it in there because they're so delicious, I just stand right out here and eat them, and it's so nice to be able to do that. Nice fresh treat. This right here is purple top turnips. Just broadcast the seed out there in the garden, wasn't thinking much about it, just using it as a cover crop. Dug some of the plants up and put them into the greenhouse, and they are doing phenomenal. Here is again some onions that think they're older than what they are, and these are the onions also. Like I said, most of them are double bubbing here. If you know anything about that, let me know. This one right here has 3 bulbs into it, so pretty much I do cut the ends of it because once it hits the floor here, it starts dying out. And I've been using these to you put for breakfast in the morning, my eggs, and just stir fry. That garden pea is definitely ready. This is what I'm talking about. This is where it's wanting to flower out. So I just break those off. Just break them off. I don't want it to do that. I might experiment with that later on, but not right now. So I know I just throw that to the ground. So this right here is rutabagas. Now the plants should be a little bit bigger, but this Brussels sprout right here that I'm learning to grow, and I don't know much about it. Honestly, I'm just learning. I can get the plants to grow. Now I've got to get the Brussels sprouts to grow. So I kind of figure something out. Don't break the bottom leaves off because all it does is sprout out. But it's sprouting out. And yesterday I almost was tempted to pull it up, cut it down, because it's taking the sunshine from my turnips, my rutabagas here. But you can't learn anything if you quit. So I'm just gonna try to learn from this right here. So I have a subscriber who sent me some seeds. So I really want to grow these because this plant is huge. I mean, it's huge. So if I can get these to grow, that's a lot of Brussels sprouts. And I love some Brussels sprouts. And it's still growing. So I stood out here yesterday and I just sat there and ate these garden peas. They're just so good. That one's ready to pick. Yep. They're so sweet. More onions down here. Like I said, they're double bubbing. So, are they edible? Yeah, they're edible. I'm just watching them, see what they're going to do, because since it was my experiment of last summer, then why not continue to experiment with them? These tops, I love these tops. I freeze dry these tops and put them up for spices. They're great for soups, stir fry. Here's another Brussels sprout. I have really not tended this thing at all, but I did, like I said, break some of these branches off, thinking I was doing, it wouldn't hurt anything. But to me, it's like that was a mistake. Looks like I got some critters going on here. We are into spring, and I have a young Brussels sprout right here. They take up so much room, and I'm like, is that the way it's supposed to be? I don't know. Look at that. Look at that garden pea. You know what I'm going to be doing when I get off this video. So some of the plants are starting to die back. But will I grow garden peas into the greenhouse again? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here is my lettuce that was planted. That's a my jalapeno from last summer. Still surviving, so it's going to put back out. Here's my lettuce I just planted 5 days ago. 5 days ago, and look at it. Probably about a week and a half, I'll be eating some lettuce maybe. It looks beautiful. Here's how I potted up my tomatoes, and a variety of tomatoes. And I use my house tool trays to put them in. It's easy transporting them. It's easy if I need to bottom water. I opened this bed up. I was going to fill it up with soil. I probably still will. But when these plants get like this, it really helps me out. This tray helps me out. This space helps me out to be able to, have a space to put my little seedlings. So I've got to work it out to where, I can grow later on in this. Maybe throughout the fall, winter, once these get into the ground, I'll start planting something else in here. And then when it's time to do my seed starting, because I end up making a place down at the very end down there for seed starting. And that worked great, but when you're up potting and you still got seeds growing, and some of those need to be up potted down there, but when you're up potting, then you still need space. And so yeah, they're looking beautiful though. I just up potted these last week. Last week. These things were small. It was either last week on a Monday or on a Friday. And they are just doing wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Dixie cups, using them, writing the names on the side of them so I can keep up with their variety, does excellent. These I use year after year, and I write the name on it, and then the next year I just mark it out and write another name. There's some onions. I don't know what they're kind of like. They are Italian torpedo onion. I never heard of those. I need to up pot those. That one's kind of it needs to be up potted. So I need to have done that about a week ago. Those are actually Brussels sprouts. And wow, I don't know if I'm going to have enough room in my garden for everything I want to plant, but we're working on it. Here we got cilantro, my spices, cilantro growing partially, and here's some lettuce that I've got to plant, and I want to probably plant it into my vertical planter. Now, this lettuce over here was literally this size when I planted it, and that's how much it's grown. Down there is where I'm starting to grow sweet potatoes, slips, move some plants out. Parsley, the parsley needs to, look at this parsley. This is last spring parsley, and it's already need to be cut again. I have freeze dried it. This thing does wonderful. I've got other spices, oregano, thyme, that's sitting out there on where I have my raised beds at, a containers garden. This is the orange tree, and it's already filled up with blooms. It's too many blooms, but I know some of them will fall off. And so I learned that last year. The lemon tree has definitely grown. It has grown. It's a little yellow, possibility of too much fertilizer maybe. I need to up pot these, and I haven't got to it yet. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, and that one's already blooming out, but I just didn't get to it, So anyways, I think it's gonna be fine. It did it last year, so it could just be the season. Who knows? I don't know at this point in time. But this is the greenhouse. Just want to give you a quick view. Things are starting to jump in here again. Before long, it's going to look like a jungle. The red deuce that my subscribers sent me from Virginia, I got 4 plants that came up. I accidentally spilled some water on some of them, but I only got 4 plants that came up at the moment. The ruggers I was like, what did I do? Did I double plant here? Because I don't know how that happened. But unless I look back at the video, but yeah, maybe I just put 2 seeds in each cell. And these are cell trays, are like 12 cells. So it's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tomato plants. Isn't that awesome? So, and that's my red deuce. He said that they grow into the greenhouse real good and produce a harvest up into frost. So, and those I was just fixing to head out to the garden, plant those. So the red deuce, I only got 4, but that's okay. That's enough for the greenhouse. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you on to the next video. Gosh, I can't remember what the name of this plant was. Well, if you remember, leave me a comment below, because right now I can't remember the name of it. It sure is beautiful. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and help my videos to get out there in YouTube land. I am straightening up here, organizing. Going to be up potting some things. So there's always something going on here into the greenhouse.